1 minute, I've got one more question I want to ask you, which is another extraordinary departure. Your career seems to be a whole series of extraordinary departures, and that is opera, that you have an opera that's going to be performed soon in Amsterdam. What is it and how did it come about?
It's very exciting. It's a very simple story. That is, in the South London Gallery, we showed the naked ship pictures. And then we showed them in Amsterdam at the Stedelijk Museum. And the whole of Holland became completely crazed and excited by the pictures, and there was a certain amount of controversy. And abuse. The director of the Stedelijk, Rudy Fuchs, had excrement put through his letterbox, and the tobacconist that he went to every morning, served by an 81-year-old lady that he knew very well, would no longer sell him his cigars. And in general, everyone was very excited by the show as well. Yeah? And then we were rushed onto television to be interviewed by a young man called Theo van Gogh. He was the only living survivor of Vincent van Gogh. He was the grandson of the brother. And he was very famous at that time because he wouldn't dress up properly for television. He wouldn't wear a tie. He looked very disheveled. He was always a bit scruffy, overweight. But he was a national figure, very famous, the most famous person, not only because of his pedigree, of course. And we did a big interview. Strangely, looking back, we talked a lot about religion and fundamentalism.
In 96.
And then you probably remember, some of you, if you look back, a few years after 1996, that young man was dragged from his bicycle in the streets of Amsterdam and stabbed to death by an Islamist. And he was, Theo van Gogh was shouting, "Can't we talk? Can't we talk about it?" Appalling last words. And recently, a lady opera composer looked at that old interview, which was filmed, of course, and has composed an opera of the interview. And we think that's very exciting.
Have you been to the dress rehearsals?
No, that's in June, I think.
So you've not seen the depictions of yourselves?
No, I don't know who's singing for us, yeah. There are obviously 3 opera singers. Yeah.
There are 3 singers and a choir, and choir boys behind it.
Great.
But it's quite exciting.
Very
to sing
exciting.
a whole opera based on an interview.
Right. We've got 10 minutes, which I can happily hijack Gilbert George for another 10 minutes.